Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. Today I will discuss of a questionable conviction by Jayant Mahapatra. Jayant Mahapatra is a bilingual poet who has shown his excellence in Odia as well as English poetry. He was born in Cuttack in 1928 and he started his career as a professor of English literature at the famous Ravenshaw College. There he got ample scope to contribute to English poetry. Since he is an Odia, he has profound lore and affection for Odia culture and tradition, which is reflected in his poetry. The men and manners of Odisha, the fairs and festivals, the folk tale of rustic life have come alive in his poetry. Jayant Mahapatra's poetry is living stories of Odisha. When we go through his poems, it seems as if we are wandering through the length and breadth of Odisha, watching hills and forests, temples, forts, rivers, beatmen, and clergymen. At the same time, his poetry is highly intellectual, full of thought, relationship, moral preachings. He points out social hazards, follies of urban life, and the naked truth about modern life. Here is of a questionable conviction. Conviction means a strong belief or an opinion. Here, of a questionable conviction addresses the issue of how important convictions are to the writing of a poem. The poem records the melancholic state of living of a poet. Writing poetry is not easy, it is a divine blessing. Anybody cannot be a poet, but the society does not pay attention to a poet. He cannot earn money from writing. If one becomes a teacher, a clerk, a peon, an officer, he must earn money. But a poet earns nothing. Writing is not a profitable business. The poet knows it. Still, he writes to please his soul, to satisfy his inner urges. His family remain half fed, starved. His wife went torn clothes, rainwater poured into his room. His children do not get proper education. His old parents do not get medicine. Yet he writes because he cannot live without writing. He writes to give other delight. He suffers to amuse other. Such a life is really hard, yet the poet welcomes it. The first stanza of the poem. This is a man who talks of pain as though it belonged to him alone. Maybe he has invented it himself and made a virtue of it. Maybe he is a poet. Here, this is a man who talks of pain. This man is the poet and pain, lots of pain. The poet who has lot of pain and though it belongs to him alone. The pain belong to him alone. Maybe he has invented it himself. It means the pain. The poet has created his own pain and made a virtue of it. And the poet made pain as a virtue. The poet takes his pain, all suffer or pain as virtue. Maybe he is a poet and the man is a poet. As he does not do a profitable job, he earns nothing. As he has no income, he lives in painful surroundings. He wears torn clothes, water poured into his room through the roof. His children are starved. He cannot arrange a drop of medicine for his sick wife or sick parents. He gets much pain which he keeps hiding in himself. Nobody gives him pain. He is the creator of his own pain. The second stanza. For hours he works, in the nights, towards another night he works, for that is his excuse to leave. The empty window in his lonely wall belongs to him. For hours he works in the night. The poet waits for divine idea and inspiration at night. Towards another night he waits. He waits night after night because ideas do not come always. That's why he waits for the arrival of the idea for hours in night, for that is his excuse to live. And excuse means the source of living. Waiting to the idea night after night is the source of the living of the poet. And the empty window in his lonely wall belongs to him. The poet keeps the window of mind open for the arrival of ideas. At time, night after night goes, the window remains opened, the walls remain lonely, no idea comes. Yet the poet does not feel letting down. He is optimist. Best ideas do not come always. They only come at a blessed and serene moment. The poet has patience for it. The third stanza. For months together, the window has been deceiving him. Light comes in, then goes away on its own. He has been trying to polish the light on his heart. Here for months together, but for so long time, the window has been deceiving him. Here deceiving means cheating. The poet waits for the arrival of the ideas by opening his window for long time, night after night. But it seems that the window is cheating him. The light comes in and goes away on its own. Here, suddenly one day light comes in. Before the poet captures it, it goes away. At time the idea settled in mind, the poet tries to polish it, adding imagination, beauty, color. He writes poem taking such elated ideas. The idea must touch the heart of the poet. Now the next last stanza. They all say he was a poet. His eyes saw the pain in the mirror that occupied him. They did not grouse him that such a harmless pastime never ruined anybody's sleep. Here they all say he was a poet. Here they are common people, normal people. The common people all say he was a poet. The man who spent sleepless night. His eyes saw the pain in the mirror. When the poet stands before the mirror, his figure or his eyes reflects how sorrowful his life or how sorrowful his heart is. His eyes show the pain in the mirror. They did not grudge him that. Here grudge means feeling bad to anybody. Here they mean the people, common people, normal people. The common people did not grudge him that such a harmless pastime never ruined anybody's sleep. People sympathetic at the poet. They never grudge at him, they never feel bad at him. While the poet stands before the mirror, he sees his own sorrowful figure. The sorrow is a the sorrow is the part of his life. It occupies his whole entity. People sympathetic at a poet. They never grudge at him. They never feel bad at a poet. But writing poetry is a harmless pastime. It never ruins anybody's life. Everybody loves a poet. Everybody loves to recite poem or read poem or to enjoy poem. People get amusement from reading a poem, but they never feel the suffering of a poet. The life of a poet is very painful. Thank you.